How do you refurb a house from A to Z in 2026? Well, in this video, I will show you every step that you need to follow in order to get the best results you can. Let's get straight into it. This property, once we are finished, is going to be valued at over £1 million. But the process works with every property that you do. It's still the same A to Z, step by step. I started with properties up north, which were 80,000. I went into the Midlands with properties that were valued at 200,000, 300,000. Then I went into a little bit bigger developments where there's 500,000, 600,000, 700,000. And now I am lucky enough to be working on £1 million property developments. So the A to Z process works for all of you. And if you follow it step by step, you will get the results that you want. So step number one is a strip out. Now you have two types of strip outs. You have a back to brick strip out, which is where you take away everything in the property. The kitchens, the bathrooms, the flooring, the internal doors, the architrave, which is this stuff that goes around the doors, the skirting board, which is this stuff down here. You literally strip the house back to brick and take all the plaster off the walls. And then you have just a strip out, which is a cosmetic strip out. If you're not going back to brick and you're leaving the plaster on the walls, you might leave some architrave on, you might leave some skirting, but you might remove the kitchen, you might remove the bathroom. So you've got two types of strip out, a full back to brick strip out and a cosmetic strip out. Then we got step two, which is first fix electrics and first fix plumbings. Now, first fix electrics consists of all of the wires running from all of your plug sockets, your light switches, and all of your lights, and they all go back to a consumer unit on the wall, which is usually metal in new properties, and it's where all of your fuses go up and down for simplicity, so you understand that. And then you've got your first fix plumbing, which is all the pipes that run around from your boiler to your radiators, they go to your bath, your sink, and all of your kitchen appliances and all of your bathroom appliances. That's the next step of a refurb. Step number three, plastering. This is where you go back to brick or whether you go skimming on the surface. But at this stage, your contractors, your builders will come in, they will get the whole house ready if it's back to brick. If not, they will start plastering at this stage. Round about now, because at the beginning of the project, if you're doing windows and door replacement, your windows might be fitted at this stage. Now, something that's very important, windows can be fitted at any time throughout the refurb because a good contractor doesn't worry about it. They can fix it in at any time, even towards the end, because there's usually a time allocation for your windows to be made. But a little tip for you, don't put your new front door on a property until it's completely done. Because when the builders walk in, walk out, and people deliver things, your front door will get damaged. So your back door, maybe, but your front door, never, ever, ever have it replaced until the end of the project. Step number four, tiling. So this is where your kitchen will be tiled on the floors. Your bathroom will have the tiling done on the floors or on the walls. And at this stage, you start seeing the project coming together. Step number five, your floor has been laid and now your kitchen is going to be fitted. The reason I lay my floors first is because I like my kitchens to fit on top of my tiles or whatever flooring I'm putting on. I don't like it pushed up to the edge. It's something I've never liked and it doesn't sit right with me. Now, when you're having your kitchen fitted, like this one in here, you've got to make sure that you pick a great kitchen fitter, because if you pay cheap, you pay twice. When it comes to the worktops, when it comes to the alignment of the cupboards, you need a professional. Do not go and scrimp and save when it comes to the kitchen, because it's the heart of the home and it's the first thing that most people fall in love with. In between step four and step five, depending on what contractor you've got and how they like to do things, that's when your carpenter will be on site and they will be doing all of the architrave around the doors, and they will also be doing all of the skirting. If there's any spindles that need replacing on a staircase or any banisters or anything to do with the carpentry side of things, that's the time the carpenter will come in and will start doing works. Again, each contractor's different, but it does have to be done at this stage in order to achieve the timescales that you set yourselves. Step number 6 is the mist coat. Now that is when a decorator will come in and give the walls the first spray of paint. Now, a mist coat is a watered down paint that is sprayed onto all the fresh plasterboards in the property. It absorbs, giving a base coat from when you do put the final 2 or 3 coats on to get the finish that you want. So that's the stage when the mist coat comes in. Basically, someone comes in looking like a Ghostbuster with a backpack on and a gun and starts spraying the walls. Step number 7, second fix, plumbing and electrics. This is when all the radiators will be hung on the walls, all of the spotlights or all of your lights will be fitted, and you start seeing the property really coming together. You get the switches put on the walls, you get the plug sockets put on, and everything gets tested to make sure it's all running correctly. Step number 8, the decorators are now in full swing and are giving the property the first coat of paint and the second coat of paint, making sure everything is done correctly. A great decorator can make an average plasterer look incredible. A decorator is somebody who can come in and make a wall look absolutely amazing if the plasterer hasn't done a job that's 10 out of 10. You're not always going to get great trades. You are going to have problems with certain things, but you need to know how to counteract it. And the one that I've learned over 11 years is that if I get a plasterer who's not great, my decorator has always been able to make it come out absolutely unbelievable if you get somebody who is a correct trade when it comes to decorators, and not someone who just comes in, gets a roller, gets a spray gun, rushes, tries to finish it as quick as possible. If you get someone who comes in and can actually perfect it, it makes it amazing. Step number 9 is flooring. Whether you are having carpet, whether you are having real wood, whether you are having laminate, whether you are having tiles, this is when the carpet gets done that's not in the kitchen or not in the bathrooms. And at this stage, the property really is coming together. Step number 10, hanging the internal doors. Now, at this stage, people go, hang on, shouldn't they have been done when the carpenter was in? No, they should always be done after the flooring has been fitted. Now, if you look at this door, it opens, it closes with no issues whatsoever. When you have carpet, when you have real wood flooring, when you have laminate flooring, if it's put down and the door's already hung, the door usually does have to come off and it has to be shaved down, meaning the carpenter comes back twice. Whereas if you just do it at this stage, it saves a lot of headache, a lot of hassle, and it just keeps everything moving correctly. Step number 11 is snagging. This is where you go around the property and you find if there's any faults, anything that you're unsure of, and you highlight it with your main contractor, your builder. You get it all finished before you pay that final 5 or 10% that you have left to pay the contractor. You want to pay the contractor in stage payments. That's in a contract. If you need any help, reach out to me. I will give you a specification sheet, a stage payment sheet, and I will even give you a snagging checklist completely free. Link is below for you to get it. Yes guys, I know I haven't mentioned gardens, and this is where I am going to talk about gardens. Now, a rear garden is usually done as the last thing in a project if you have a side entrance. If you're in a terrace property and you're renovating it from A to Z, and you can only go in the property from the front door to the back door to go in and out to bring materials, then obviously your back garden has to be done before anything is done in the property. But if you do have a side entrance and you can get to the back garden without going through the front door, you will always leave the garden till the last thing to do. And also the front of the house. The front of the house, the driveway, the front garden, I always do those last as well. Again, you can do them anytime you want to, but just make sure that it fits in with the contractor and you're not getting in each other's way. Step number 12 is guttering, fascia, and rendering the property if you want to. And this is always done at the end. Some people will do it whilst the work is going on, but I always choose to do these at the last part of the project, and that is step number 12.